right? I want you to try it. Because in the old NHIF, in fact, it was destined to collapse because we had accumulated debts of 30 billion shillings, and it was growing by $1.5 billion every year. It wasn't reducing. So it was destined to crash at some point. So what did I do? We changed the law. We had to start from zero because we had tried to operate with the law the way it was. It failed once, it failed twice, it failed 3 times. It was clear to me that we had something that was fundamentally wrong. So we worked on a new bunch of laws. We replaced the NHIF Act with 5 pieces of legislation. Thankfully, Parliament passed the laws. We changed the contribution structure because, let me tell you, you know very well that the least you could pay under NHIF was 500 shillings. The small people, Mama Mboga, Boda Boda, they paid 500 shillings. William Ruto, the president of Kenya, paid 1,700. How much? 1,700. So a person earning 1 million is paying 1,700. What percentage of his earning is that? 0.01%. Are we together? Mama Mboga, whose income is 5,000 shillings a month, is paying 500. What percentage is that? 10%. So the poor people are paying 10%. The rich guys are paying 0.001%. Is there an element of fairness there? Even if you calculate it using what language? So we said, let's change the contribution structure. Let us make it uniform. Let us make it equitable. Today, the law demands that each and every one of us, from Mama Mboga to the president, pays 2.75% of their income to SHA for health insurance. The small people have come down from 10% to 2.75%. The big guys like myself and you guys seated here have come from down. We are now, all of us, at 2.75%. That's how I became Sakayo. Yeah? Because we wanted a fair. How will you argue? How will you argue with that? You know? So what has happened? I'm paying more. I think I pay now 50,000 a month from 1,700. Mama Mboga has come down from 500 to 300. Are we together? We're raising more money. We're actually raising 3 times more money than we were raising in NHIF. Are we together? And today, it is possible for Mama Mboga, who never imagined that they would go for surgery and they would not have to sell their land or their livestock to pay, that SHA today pays for citizens equally. And you will hear many stories of what SHA is doing. As I talk to you on a daily basis, people in the informal sector who never participated in NHIF, they are registering. 50,000 people are registering every day on SHA. We had 7 million people. Do you know how many people we have today on the platform? 24 million. How many? 24 million. That is how transformative it is. So, and by the way, people are registering voluntarily. Today, if you ask somebody to go to come and do a fundraising for you because you have a health bill, the first question they ask you, are you registered in SHA? Because they know if you are registered in SHA, at least a portion of your bill would have been settled. And if you are not, they will tell you, instead of us doing the Harambee, let me register you in SHA, wende upambane na mambo mbele. So I can tell you it's not perfect. It's not 100% there. But I can tell you we are on course. And I am determined and I'm clear that it's going to work. Because we have applied our mind to it. It took us almost a year to put together the legislation that now underpins our health insurance delivery. And my commitment is that to give every Kenyan a chance. If you want to try, *147#. I think that's a correct, somebody correct me if it is wrong. Correct? *147#. You will land on the SHA platform. You can register yourself there. They will take you to a place where they will assess you. And my commitment was let everybody pay pro rata on their income. The indigents, the people who cannot afford to pay, there will be about 1 million, 1.5 million, maybe 2 million, maybe 3, will be paid for by the government of Kenya. That is how we are going to make it universal. Are we together? That was my commitment on health, and I am very proud that we are all now moving in the right direction. The numbers speak for themselves. I get a report every evening because it is something that is so dear to me, and I see the numbers every day, and we keep correcting. We have closed down 1,000 fake hospitals. 1,000. And we are closing a few in the next coming days. Because there are still those who want to change. For example, somebody has gone there for an outpatient. They want to change it to be an inpatient so that they can claim more money. Those ones, we are going to shut them down. And we're going to make sure that the program is clean. What have we done? We deploy technology. Today, there are no exercise books. Whenever you went to hospital, you would carry a small slip, then the doctor writes something there, and then you go to the next place, and then we stop that. Now we have moved to a digital platform. Admissions are digital. Discharge is digital. Claims are digital. And we can track. That is why it is easy for us to discover who is doing what game. Just for you to understand the numbers, in the last 8 months, we have paid for treatment of 4.9 million Kenyans under SHA, and we have paid 53 billion Kenya shillings. By the end of the year, we will have paid something in the order of between 75 or 80 billion Kenya shillings for treatment. NHIF used to pay between 20 and 25 billion shillings every year. SHA is going to be paying 3 times because we have brought more people into the equation. It is no longer a preserve for those who can afford. It is now a right for every Kenyan. And that is my plan. Are we together? Finally, we all understand that we have a challenge of unemployment. And we have to do something about it. And jobs must be deliberate. You must have deliberate government policy on how to create jobs. Jobs will not happen. They have to be created deliberately. And that is why my good friend here, Hinga, was showing you the numbers. So our program of housing, again, you people know here, housing was a standard manifesto item in all political parties. Every party said, oh, we are going to do housing. This one said, we are going to do housing. Even us in Jubilee, among the big four, one of them was housing. In fact, just so that you know, housing was our plan in 2017. So we went to the campaign, we talked about housing, we said, oh, we are going to do this thing. And we actually went out of our way. So when we won the election, my good friend Uhuru Kenyatta, my boss, then told me, look, this housing, I have a very good person who I know. I met him in South Africa. Okay, we must look for him. I told him, Mr. President, please, let's look for him. We looked for the fellow, we found him. He's called Charles Hinga, this man here. This man was brought by President Uhuru. He told me, this man knows this thing. Okay, so we passed the law. 2018, we have put a levy. The levy was 1.5% levy. Okay, so we signed, Uhuru signs the law into, the bill into law, and the kelele starts. You know, kelele everywhere, you know. So my good friend Uhuru called me and said, William, I thought you have a house. I told him, I have a house. Okay. Okay. So this noise people are making around here, you know, if these people don't want these houses, let's forget about it. You know, we're not going to be building houses for ourselves. That's how the housing thing died. So the next celebration, he went and announced this housing thing is now voluntary. So nothing happened. So by God's grace, you know, Hinga did not leave. So I hung around, bahati mzuri nikakuwa rais. Bas. Na iko ile tumeweka kwa manifesto, I spoke about it everywhere. This housing thing. In every political meeting. So when we now reinstated the law, the members of parliament came to see me and said, oh, you know, this thing is so unpopular. We cannot do this thing. No, we cannot. So I asked them, friends, were we together in the campaign trail? Yes. Did we promise housing? Yes. How did you expect it to be done? Do you have a different plan of delivering this thing? No. So let's do the levy. We did the levy. And for your information, the levy in our manifesto in Kenya Kwanza did not even have a percentage. The levy that had a percentage was in the Azimio manifesto. The one Kinambadi and these other people. And Olekina there. Yeah? Was 1.5%. Sasa, these are the people now who call me Zakayo. Oh, unajua sasa huyu Zakayo amelete tax. Sijui nini. But, good people, it is not possible for us to borrow money to do housing. This is the instrument, and this is what other countries have done. Today, housing is transforming the landscape of Kenya. Believe you me, if you see what is happening to our towns, go to Mandera, go to Wajir, go to Mombasa, Kitui, Machakos, Nairobi, anywhere, Nakuru, Eldoret, Nanyuki, Kakamega, Homa Bay, Migori, everywhere. The largest housing estate today in every town in Kenya is our housing program. The landscape, the skyline of many towns is changing. And for your information, This is just 1.5 years. Tell me what's going to happen in 5 years, in 10 years, in 20 years. Kenya is going to change fundamentally when we are here. For those of you living here, you will come home and you will be looking for the compass to find your way around. Are we together? And not just that, you've heard from Hinga. Apart from that, we have big dividends. We have 300,000 people now, actual people working. We have architects, quantity surveyors, engineers, plumbers, artisans, electricians, carpenters, masons, name them, working. People who have gone to school, people who have certificates, people who have come from college. They are finally finding a place to do some formal work. Not just that, we have now whole construction industries developing to do doors, to do windows, to do hinges. And we are moving on now to tiles. Shortly we will be doing lifts. We already agreed that we work on companies that will now come and set up shop in Kenya to do lifts, and on and on. So a whole construction industry is developing in Kenya. We have a pipeline of 700,000 houses. You've seen the numbers here. And we are going to not only create jobs, not only create industries, but we are also going to have to get rid of the 7 million Kenyans who today live in slums. And we're going to have, better living conditions, places of dignity. Sometimes, you find some arguments. Oh, who told this man that we needed houses? I get those kind of things many times. But you see, ask yourself, somebody who shares a toilet with 5 other families, one that you have to pay to use, people who there is no road, electricity much more expensive, water is much more expensive, living in Kenya. For those of us who live in houses that have 2, 3, 4, 5 toilets, you take them for granted. There are people who don't have a toilet. In fact, many of the people that we've given social houses in Mukuru, the best thing they celebrate is not the house. It is the fact that they have a toilet of their own. I mean, look at that. Look at that. That's how serious it is. And that is how so much of indignity that sometimes people live in, which we take for granted. And that is why we ask silly questions. Who told you we needed houses? At least for once. You should appreciate that there are people who need them more than you think. So I was talking to you about jobs. There we are creating jobs. I also made a commitment that we are going to expand the digital superhighway, as we called it, because we needed to bring more people into the space of digital jobs. As you are aware, Kenya has the best human capital anywhere in the world. We speak the best English. I say we are only second to the British. Yes. We speak the best English anywhere. Ask any corporate anywhere in the world. They will tell you Kenyans speak the best English. And we have the best education. And we are the least supervised when we are given a job. So we have the best human capital. And therefore, and we live in a global world. It is said, and statistics are there, that 40% of the world's workforce will come from Africa by 2050. We need to take the front, we need to step forward early. Are we together? And that is why Rosalind is here. The reason I asked this girl, my PS, and you guys asked me that you needed a diaspora ministry. We didn't get a diaspora ministry. I couldn't stretch it that far. But I got a state department dedicated to matters diaspora. And today we have streamlined, with the assistance of the State Department of Diaspora, working with the Ministry of Labor, we have streamlined, apart from the jobs we are creating in our housing and other public sector infrastructure, we have now identified labor mobility, that Kenyans, being a strong workforce, we can work anywhere in the world. And we can work anywhere in this globe. And that is why we have straightened, we've made it much more clear. We have eliminated characters who are taking advantage of Kenyans. There was a lot of fraud. We had 1,600 registered, those agencies, they're called what? Yes, private recruitment agencies. We had 1,600 of them. Many of them were crooks. We deregistered almost 900 of them because they had one problem or another. We demanded that any job placement must be put on the portal. We now have a portal so that we can make sure that we can track any Kenyan who is going to work outside Kenya. We must know where they are going, which company is employing them, how much are they being paid, what kind of job are they doing, and how do we get them to come home when it is necessary. And that's the job Rosalind has. Because we have streamlined that whole space, we now have a good record of Kenyans working abroad. In the last 2 years, ever since we streamlined that space, how many Kenyans have we placed there, Rosalind? 400,000 Kenyans. You know, when I say this, people cannot fathom. They can't believe it. But that's the reality. And the statistics are there. And for your information, our remittances from diaspora remittance has gone up from $4 billion, in 2022. We are now at $4.95 billion. We have almost $1 billion more. That is 120 billion shillings more because of the more Kenyans that are now working outside Kenya. It is my intention to take that to not $5 billion, as you may be waiting, to $10 billion, and it is doable. It is also the reason why today we have more reserves, because we have more people working in that space. That's number 2. Number 3, finally. I could tell you number 4, number 5, and number 6, but let me leave it at number 3. We are expanding the space in our digital jobs ecosystem. We now have 185,000 people working on our digital jobs platform. From CCI, if you go to Ruiru, you will find 5,000 people working in one building at CCI. And you find many other smaller, including in our TVETs. There are many Kenyans now who are earning in dollars, working on the digital platform, because we have streamlined that space, and it's the reason why we are spreading fiber optic around Kenya. So you should just know that apart from sometimes the many insults in the social media, there are people who are using the internet to earn real money. Forget about the insults. Forget about the pornography and all the other things there. There are people who are using internet to earn money and to sustain their livelihoods and to sustain their families. And that is the space we are working. So we are deliberate about where we are creating jobs. I can tell you with confidence, we have 300,000 jobs in the housing sector. You can go and see it for yourself. We have 400,000 Kenyans who have gone out in the last 2 years. We can give you the statistics and their names. We can tell you with confidence that we have Kenyans working in the digital space. We know where they are. We know what they are doing. And we will continue to push that space. I do not wish to say more than that. I just wanted to let you know, because I know sometimes you're here and you get to read our newspapers. It is bad news from page 1 to the last page. Headline after headline, you will think home is burning. I want to tell you that somebody's telling me some information here. You will come and tell them. I don't know. You will come and tell them. So this is what it is. So my ask of you is, we have a country to look after. I did promise that I will lead from the front. I want to tell you, I will lead from the front. Yes. Because I have a job to do. I told you, it's not always that you get an opportunity to be president. And it is my responsibility to make a difference. Tough as the choices are, difficult as the decisions are, I will make those decisions so that we can move the country forward. Because if I don't, we will mark time. I mean, for me, many people tell me, oh, you should not have made too many difficult decisions in your first term. You should have waited so that you can do them in your second term. My friends, if I can do it in 5 years, why do I need to wait for 10 years? Let me do it. Are we together? Yes. Because these decisions we've always postponed. We have to make them. Somebody has to make these decisions. I have decided that I am the person to make these decisions for Kenya so that we can change our country. So that we can change our country. Are we together? So that we can change our country. I could choose to be popular, to make convenient decisions, but that's not me. Let me make the decisions that will change Kenya, and I'm very proud that we are moving the country forward. So with those many remarks, let me stop there and to give an opportunity to you to ask me maybe 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 questions, and then I will answer, and then we'll call it a day. I know it's been a long day for me, but also I'm sure for you. Asanteni.